Hi everybody, my name is Kevin Reiner. I'm with Cub Scout Pack 273 in Cornersville, Tennessee, and I would like to talk with you about outdoor ethics. Did you know there are ethical treatments to experiencing the outdoors? When you walk outside, you determine how to respond to what you see, you hear, feel, smell, and taste, and how you respond to these senses may be consequential to how others have responded to their sense in the outdoors. Ultimately, there are two ethical treatments to the outdoors. Treat the outdoors with utmost respect, or treat the outdoors with utmost disrespect. So, what are outdoor ethics? There's this thing called leave no trace. What that is it's built on core principles used to communicate the best available minimum impact guidance for enjoying the outdoors responsibly. In other words, Leave No Trace is an outdoor ethical movement to keep the outdoors as clean and pristine as how humans once found them. The ethical treatment of nature is of utmost importance not only for ourselves and our children, but for our children's children. According to Marion and Reed, in their historical perspective on Leave No Trace, there were 33 million recreational visits to National Park Service areas in 1950. This increased to 287 million by 1999. That's a considerable amount of people each year spending time in the outdoors doing activities such as hiking and backpacking, camping and kayaking, bicycling, running, fishing, hunting, so much more. So, what are the ethical issues? So, it's been asked if Americans are loving the parks to death. Issues are arising with the number of people coming to droves, impacting the ecology of nature. More people finding their way into the outdoors is threatening further damage to the environment if ethical decisions are not being made in taking care for our outdoors. Respect for wildlife, or rather disrespect for wildlife, is driving wildlife further into the wilderness, destroying any chance of seeing wildlife in its natural habitat. Disrespect also causes undue stress on wildlife as well as creating an unnecessary defense against humans. For example, bears in the Great Smoky Mountains are becoming less fearful of humans due to the constant presence. This puts humans in danger of the bears attacking for human food. They also are more sensitive to attacking in fear of their cubs being hurt. The pollution rate is on the rise as more people bring trash to the backcountry instead of the pack it in, pack it out practices. They are dumping their trash on the side of trails or trying to burn it unsuccessfully. Graffiti is becoming an issue on rocks in the western park systems. Cutting valuable resources like tree limbs for comfort rather than picking deadfall off the ground because it's more fun to cut. It's destroying living resources and habitats. One hiker venturing off the trail or one group creating a new campsite may seem of little significance, but the combined effects of millions of such instances leave a substantial and cumulative mark on the land. Trampling by foot, horse, or bicycle causes loss of vegetation cover and change in species composition, exposure, compaction, and erosion of the soil, damage to trees, campfire scars, litter, and improperly disposed human or dog waste. This is all problematic. Increasing recreational visitation also causes crowding along trails and campsites, which diminishes solitude. Incompatible activities or encounters with discourteous visitors can lead to conflicts between groups. So, what are some important principles to consider? I'd like to introduce you to the 12 laws of scouting, otherwise known as the Scout Law. These are virtues that are needed for better outdoor practices, and they are followed. Trustworthy. One must be trusted to obey the law of leave no trace while experiencing nature. Loyal. One must be loyal to his surroundings and not abuse it in any way. Helpful. One must look to put others first while experiencing the outdoors. Friendly. One must see nature as our friend, something we can learn from. Courteous. One must be courteous to others while experiencing the outdoors by not being loud and obnoxious, but allowing others to experience the outdoor to its fullest extent. Kind. One must be kind in the treatment of all plants and animals, and not pull up plants, damage trees, or scare or abuse animals. Obedient. One must be obedient to the L&T principles. Cheerful. One must experience the outdoors in a cheerful manner, knowing that all of nature is God's creation and serves a purpose, including snakes and spiders, and mosquitoes, and chiggers, and any of those others that you don't really like while you're out in the woods. Thrifty. One must be thrifty in the outdoor manners and not overutilize nature's resources but use only what's needed. Brave. One must be brave to do the right thing when confronted by questionable outdoor ethics. Clean. One must be clean in the outdoor experience and not throw down trash, pollute the streams, or create graffiti. Reverent. One must be reverent to the Creator of all creation and benefit from the outdoor experience by drawing near to God. These principles were installed from the beginning of the Scouting movement by Lord Baden-Powell and are universal to every outdoor enthusiast. Springboarding off the Scout Law to be reverent, there are other principles to keep in mind that are of spiritual implications behind good stewardship of the world we live in. Creation teaches us about the God that we serve. Psalm 104 teaches us how God orchestrates and composes earthly things in order to show us His glory. Psalm 19 teaches us about how creation declares His glory. Romans 1:19 through 20 teaches us that His eternal nature and divine power can be known through common grace and that we are not without excuse. And Job 12:7 through 12 is an interesting take on nature. It demands us to ask creation, and creation will teach us the things of God. And it asks a great question in verse 9. It says, which of these, as in creation, does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? So when we go out into the woods or we go out into nature and experience nature, nature is there to teach us about God. And if we destroy it, then we are destroying God's message. What's the alternative? The alternatives to the virtues of Scout laws would be devastating to the outdoor experience. Deviant rather than trustworthy, selfish rather than friendly, inconsiderate rather than helpful, mean-spirited rather than courteous, disobedience rather than obedient, angry rather than kind, cowardice rather than brave, dirty rather than clean, and irreverent rather than reverent. Each of these would lead to an unpleasant outdoor experience. In other words, one would find the outdoors to be full of trash and litter, trampled down foliage, graffiti covered rocks and caves, or initials carved in trees with a knife, scarred earth from displaced campfires, loud erratic noises from electronics, drunkards and disrespectful naturists. More backpackers would become lost due to the unfamiliarity of trails and the lack of education of the area. Camping areas would be littered with feces due to the lack of respect for others by not digging cat holes. Erosion would be abundant due to the killing of local plant species. The outdoors would become simply a wasteland without an ethical treatment. No one would care that nature is being destroyed. So this leaves us with two options. Either we can have a dirty outdoors or we can have a clean outdoors. Left to our own devices and given no idea of ethical treatments to the outdoors would come in danger rather quickly. One, simply because humans are sinful and have no regard to others. We're inherently selfish. This is why Satan attacked our personal desires when he approached Eve in the Garden of Eden and told her that she could be like God. He attacked her selfishness. Rather than giving her a bunch of stuff, he told her how great she could be. According to a 2005 National Public Lands Day activities report, 380,000 pounds of trash were removed from 800 national parks, wildlife refuges, forests, and waterway sites throughout the nation. This is an increase in trash from 2004, which resulted in 285,000 pounds of trash being collected. In a year, that is roughly 100,000 pounds of trash. We now live in 2017. And this comes from a report of 2005 of 380,000 pounds of trash being collected. Imagine how much trash is being collected now. Number 3, a lack of virtuous time spent in the outdoors will also create animosity between other outdoor enthusiasts and will create more activists to seek out laws regarding ethics in the outdoors, which in turn will lead to more unenjoyable experiences due to restrictions such as no fires, no food in the backcountry, no camping, no hunting, no fishing, and other restrictions because we simply cannot be ethical. We can't be trusted. On the other side, if we could be trusted by being ethical in the outdoors, it would lead to the government trusting us in more enjoyable experiences in the outdoors. Number 1, the outdoors would be less trashed by way of garbage and graffiti if we cared more about the natural look of nature. 2, as evident of the Great Smoky Mountains, more nature would be apt to come out if humans were more trusted to respect nature and creation. When you go to Cades Cove, you'll see more bears, you'll see deer, you'll see all sorts of creation that come out because Cades Cove is well taken care of, and the animals know it. Number 3, air pollution and soil erosion would be less, therefore the need for conservation work would be down. Also, if man respected and built campfires were allowed, it would not create backcountry fires, therefore creating erosion issues such as that found on chimney tops in the Great Smoky Mountains, where the trail was closed and rebuilt, not allowing hikers to summit due to erosion. The Great Fire of last year created an erosion issue, and now you can't summit chimney tops because we were unethical and a fire broke out. This is not a good scene to happen on when you're walking in the woods. This is not clean. This is dirty. This is unethical. So consider the consequences. There are consequences to every action. How we treat the outdoors will determine how we will enjoy the outdoors. We can enjoy the garbage heaps, the graffiti, the fire-scorched underbrush, the skittish animals, closed trails and areas due to erosion, overcrowding due to lack of outdoor space to utilize, noise pollution due to electronics and overcrowding. Or we can enjoy pristine waters, natural landscapes, scavenging creatures, peace and quiet, and more solidified connection with God, spending time in and with His creation as He created it, not how we distorted it. So it's time for you and me to make a decision. Richard Love states in his book, The Nature Principle, we can truly care for nature and ourselves only if we see ourselves in nature as inseparable. Only if we love ourselves as part of nature. Only if we believe that human beings have a right to the gifts of nature undestroyed. The only way to accomplish this is to take personally and follow the Leave No Trace principles. And they are: plan ahead and prepare. Travel and camp on durable surfaces. Dispose of waste properly. Leave what you find. Minimize campfire impacts. Respect wildlife. And be considerate of other visitors. So, with that, I invite you to keep calm and enjoy the outdoors. And with that being said, my Wolf Scout has one more thing to say.
Do your best.